It's Googy Morning with me, Riley Soloner. Hi. You may have seen a clip of me juggling and talking about ska from last week.
Sorry to remove you there, Riley. My name's Chris Gethard. Everybody, Crisis on Infinite Scum continues. The worlds are colliding. Riley will be back in a minute if I allow him to be back in a minute. In the meantime, I have a box. There's a thing in the box. If you guess what's in the box, you get to keep what's in the box. You also get to keep the box, and you get over $350. Sorry to interrupt your previously scheduled Googy Morning. Would anyone like to call in right now? Guess what's in the box? Bryson, do we have anybody on the line? Let's go ahead. Let's patch them through. Guess what's in the box? Annika saying it's an aggressive energy for Saturday morning. Yeah, if you signed up for a Googy Morning, you didn't sign up for me cutting wrestling promos. Hello, welcome. You're on the show.
Bell Sprout, you're on the show.
Bell
you just got to
Sprout.
unmute yourself.
What's in the box? You got a guess? Do you have a guess here? Let's get it going. Because we're not, come on, it's a good bit, but I'm not trying to eat Riley's whole morning up.
Annika, you're on the show.
Annika, let's do it.
Hi.
What do you think is in the box? Sorry, I freaked you out with my aggressive energy.
No, I love it. Honestly, aggressive energy is a great vibe. It's an unexpected vibe for sure, but it's a great vibe.
Well, you know, it's like the aggression cuts with the googiness in a way where when Riley comes back, if I allow him to come back, I think it'll only seem more googy. So anyway, did you want to get?
Sure. I can see that. It's a nice contrast. It's like the Star Wars characters on Robbie's show. It's sort of a dichotomy.
Yeah.
My guess for what is in there is I truly was not expecting this.
5, 4, 3.
It's
2.
a cool Batman comic. I don't know.
A cool Batman comic? Incorrect.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll see you Wednesday night or maybe other times in between. Let's return you back to your previously scheduled googiness. Planet Scum, Crisis on Infinite Scum.
What the hell, man? I at least let me guess what's in the box if you're gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, what's in the box? Okay, I'm gonna guess it's some. Is it? Can I make a qualifying guess before my main guess?
Yeah, don't be mad at me. This is what it feels. By the way, this is what it feels like to have your comedy interrupted after all these years. Now you know. Now you know what it's like to have someone randomly just come out of nowhere and take over your shit.
Look, all right, fine. Feels good, don't it?
I feel great right now.
Yeah,
you feel very off kilter and uncertain, huh?
Well,
that's how I felt for years.
This is a bad week for this.
Oh, so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're going to talk about a very serious book soon.
I know. I'm not trying to interrupt that. I know it's a very cool thing you're doing. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way.
Is this thing in the box something that you got for free because of some kind of industry thing?
No.
No. Okay. I'm going to stay with my original guess. Is it a drone?
It's not a drone. It's
not a drone. All right.
Wednesday nights, you can guess, keep winning money. We have $350 in the box due to the generosity of the PlanetScum community. Also want everybody to support Riley. He's doing great stuff out here. Remember, artists are artists. Support them. Also get to pay the staff who works hard to make this happen. Riley, I love you. Sorry to interrupt. Let's get
Googy. All right. Thank you, Chris. That was cool. What's up? This is Googy Morning. Oh, son of a.
What if it's me?
You?
What if it's me? Okay, I'm gone for real this time.
All right. Can we run the promo again? I gotta go answer the fucking door.
Y'all gather close, y'all. Come here. Bone structures are concept.
What?
Wait, you just said that was the final question.
This is the final question. This is the final question now. Okay. Question. Don't question.
We're not going to just make them watch the video again while we cover for Riley, are we? I can come back in. I'm already here.
Geth, we have Sky Daddy with
Oh, Sky Daddy wants to guess what's in the box. This is a perfect way to cover while Riley gets his brunch delivered. Sky Daddy, what do you think is on the box? Got any guesses, Sky Daddy? You got to unmute. You know how this works. I'm here covering for Riley.
All right, we got Fist Fight Jones. Fist Fight Jones. What do you think's in the box?
Fist Fight Jones, welcome back. What do you think's in the box? Everybody needs to unmute.
My bags.
What?
Is it my bags?
Dot, I can't totally understand you.
Oh no, am I not working?
No, I can
So
hear you
just
much better
cut
now.
out me then.
What's your guess? What's your guess?
Oh, my guess is my bangs. Do you have my bangs?
Oh, your bangs. No, I do not have your bangs in the box, but thank you so much for the guess. Talk to you Wednesday night, I'm sure. Here covering for Riley. I hope he comes back soon because I'm about to take my son to go see his cousins. What else? Anybody else?
We've got Local Unknown. You're on the line with Gethard.
Local unknown. Let's have a quick guess. I'm here covering for Riley.
Chris, you said it's Cal's diaper box. I have this feeling that it's a magazine to order more diapers for Cal.
Great guess, but incorrect. It's not.
Thanks.
It's not a magazine to order more diapers for Cal.
Let's give Sky Daddy another chance. Sky Daddy, are you there?
Sky Daddy, and if you don't get it right this time, I'm going to be really mad at you because you know how this works.
Looks like Sky Daddy's not there. We've got one other caller. Caroline,
would you like to guess what's in the box?
you just have to unmute.
Hi. I think it's some kind of coffee mug shaped like a superhero. Is
Incorrect.
okay.
But I'm glad
Thank
you're
you,
shooting your shot. Somebody out there is going to win over $350, and that's only going to grow each week as people contribute more during PlanetScum.live. And since people have to be bashful on their own accord, I want to say Riley's doing great work. He's had an innovative show. Ska juggling one week, analyzing the books of Assata Shakur the next week. It's a guy who's waking up on Saturday mornings to do it. Let's go ahead, everybody. Support the show. Support Riley Soloner. Does anybody else want to guess what's in the box? I really have to go. I'm about to get in trouble. We're supposed to leave, trying to get Cal to go see his cousins right now. Anybody?
Sky Daddy, one last time.
Sky Daddy.
There.
Sky Daddy, click the unmute icon. Click the mic icon so it's not unmuted. I will destroy you, David. I love you, but I will destroy you.
Sky Daddy's not coming.
I'm just going to look and see what's in the box. Oh, yeah, it's still the same thing. And then on top of it, there's still that $20 I put in there to kick things off. Yeah.
All right, Riley's back.
Pretty cool. All right, I'll see you later, everybody.
Okay. Wow. Today's show is sponsored by Amazon. Everybody support Amazon, support Jeff Bezos, support Twitch, owned by Jeff Bezos. What was at the door? Amazon packages. I don't know what's in them. All right. I don't want to do this. Okay. Googy morning, everyone. This is like one of those episodes where Gethard was having a bad time. If he can do it, I can do it. Okay. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Thank you for being here this week. This is not the episode where I wanted to be thrown off kilter twice in a row. All right. Look. Did anybody read the book? Throw a F in the chat if you read the book, or if you're thinking about reading the book. The book I'm talking about, of course, is Assata by Assata Shakur. One of the best books I ever read, I think. As you know, on this show every other week I do book reviews. You know I'm not very well read. I'm a white guy with a beard. Look at all these Fs. Okay, cool. Thank you for reading the book. Or if you just read it before this show even existed, hey, all right. And thank you for picking it up if this show did, in fact, inspire you to do that. All right. I'm a little bit of, look, I'm apprehensive to talk about this book. Why? Because, as you know, this is the show where I just show off that I'm still learning. I may be wrong about a couple things. I may be misinformed about a couple things. I'm working it out on the show. Clearly. Why else? Because I feel like white supremacists might watch this show one day and see that I'm in support of people like Assata Shakur, and then they'll say, get them. Dun, dun, dun. All right. All right. Okay. So, support the show if you want to, or you can. Half of the money that I receive through this show, I'm going to send to the National Bail Fund to bail people out of jail. Jails are bad, cops are bad, X, Y, Z. What else is going on? Next week, we're going to do something more, I haven't decided what yet, but more creative. We do a left brain, right brain format on this show for now. You can also watch all the archived versions of this show on the Planet Scum YouTube channel, and watch the other shows on Planet Scum. There's a game show that Martin Urbano does. Robbie Hoffman does an advice show. Of course, you got the George Lucas talk show, and you got Gethard's What's in the Box show. Am I missing any? Well, Justin and Maya have a new show. I haven't checked it out yet, but I love the segments that they did on the CGP podcast. And then you got my show. Still haven't quite figured it out. Okay. Pepper. Thank you, Pepper. All right. Let's do it. We're 20 minutes in. Okay. So if you haven't read this book, quick overview. Assata Shakur, also known as Joanne Chesimard, was stopped on what the cops call a routine traffic stop by the New Jersey State Troopers on the New Jersey Turnpike in 1971. I should know that. I don't know what year. And 2 people died. A New Jersey State Trooper died, and one other person in the car with Assata at the time, Joanne, died. And they arrested the 2 other people in the car. They charged Assata with murder of a New Jersey State Trooper. And the book, that's where the book starts, and the book follows her to her account of how the police treated her in her hospital bed. And then the book alternates between chapters of chronicling her upbringing and then chronicling the progress of the many cases bank robbery and murder that she was charged with, and her eventual incarceration and liberation through escaping prison and fleeing to Cuba. Why this book? Why this book? I have a little, I have a little structure. So the big question is, why this book? Well, I spent July reading about the American justice system, mass incarceration, and incarcerated people and police. And so as the month progressed, we kind of went from just the structure to, I feel like I narrowed it down to one exceptional case, one exceptional personal story of the extremes that the justice system, the police, the prison system, and the government in general will go through, the extremes that those systems will go to keep someone locked up, silenced, and entangled in a mess of legal loopholes that will keep someone imprisoned under dubious pretenses. Thank you, We Are Trash People, for reading the book. So I feel like all the other books that I read this month leading up to this book were good preparation and good just gaining a sense of literacy for what can go wrong in terms of police and their self-interest, protecting their self-interest, protecting their ranks, and just working from a place of, literally shooting first and asking questions later, and then covering their tracks, keeping someone in jail without trying to rehabilitate them and rather just trying to silence and punish them, even if the punishment does not fit the crime, even if the crime doesn't fit with the reality of what happened. And David Ray Martinez is in here. If she killed a police officer, she would have been killed and not have a second thought. They needed a scapegoat. Yes, exactly. Thank you, David, for being here. First point I want to bring up, just a little bit of context if you haven't read the early chapters of the book. When the New Jersey State Troopers shot her, they paralyzed the arm that they claim that she used to shoot a gun she didn't have to kill a state trooper she didn't kill. All right? She worked very hard to Kill Bill style, unparalyze the arm that they paralyzed with a bullet still in her body. They did a chemical forensics study while she was still in the hospital bed for the first time for gunpowder residue. You shoot a gun, there's gunpowder residue on your fingers. There was no gunpowder. Look, maybe I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist. Read the fucking book, okay? She didn't shoot a gun on the New Jersey Turnpike. So there's that. That's just a little bit of an overview. Why does this book speak to me? That's another question that we had teed up. Why? Okay, well, I already read all these other books. It felt very engaging, and it felt very, it hits you in the heart to read such a detailed example of how all of these systems put in place to protect people can just fail spectacularly when there's more incentive for them to think in terms of self-preservation than to think in terms of actual justice, right? Some themes to be discussed. Here are some themes that came up for me when reading this book. Themes of solitude and independence. Of course, literally, she was in solitary confinement for so many years. But then you look at her younger years, and there's the idea that you see this progress of her becoming an independent thinker and someone who thinks for themselves, and someone who has to, finds a community, but in large part finds that community by being an independent thinker and having to think for herself. Of course, a big theme in the book is liberation. And we see that literally through her finding a way to liberate and escape incarceration and flee to Cuba. But there's the being a part of the Black Liberation Army, and just liberating herself through deeper education not found in the normal mainstream school curriculum that kind of, programs us at an early age. So yeah, let's see. I'm looking at David Ray Martinez. I'm happy he's here. Let's see. I know he knows a cop that arrested his former wife's new man. Damn. Holy shit. All right. Okay. We're going to just roll straight into the point of no return here. By the way, I'm structuring this week's episode with just basic story structure of context, catalyst, point of no return, main event, and lasting image. So now we're up to the point of no return. We're going to do a little bit of a screen share with some discussion questions. Oh yeah, someone's bringing up a good point that 40% of police officers are domestic abusers, but those are only the 40% only reflects the amount of cops that are reported for that. This week's episode is sponsored by Economy Candy, best candy store in New York. If you're in the Lower East Side, if you're in the East Village and you need a lot of candy with none of the fucking, fancy dress up. We're not trying to do a Willy Wonka thing here. Just show us the candy. You go to Economy Candy, okay? I really hope Economy Candy is, I'm sure they're owned by good people, right? God, I hope so. All right. Point of no return. Let's do this. They have fancy candy. They have well-made candy. It's just not dressed up like, Dylan's Candy Bar or whatever. All right. Let's bring up that first discussion question. Hex, are you with me? I don't know. Okay. Look, I'm just going to ask it. If we can't get the graphic up, that's fine. Here we go. Okay. How did police treat Assata during and after her arrest? Well, they shot her. Okay, so my dad grew up in New Jersey. Here, and he's one of those, maybe this applies to all people from New Jersey no longer living there. He will not stop talking about New Jersey. And so I learned at an early age, and we didn't really get into specifics, but New Jersey state troopers apparently are, you don't want to mess with them. You don't want to mess with any cop, right? But apparently New Jersey state troopers are rough. And this book is testimonial to that. They shot Assata. And then according to Assata's memory of the incident, as she was floating in and out of consciousness, they maybe tried to cover it up, or they were waiting for her to die, or they were just very happy that they shot her. And let's see, the extreme abuse and neglect and intimidation and torture that they treated her with in the hospital is, I mean, you just got to read this first chapter alone. If you got it, this book it's pretty, it's amazing to read what they did, right? From everything from torturing her with sleep deprivation, stomping around and yelling all hours of the night so that she couldn't sleep and heal from her wounds, to exacerbating her condition by, physically hurting her in her wounded area, the gunshot wound, to rubbing chemicals in her eyes to make her eyes burn to get her to talk, to, doing things like using Nazi sympathizer language in the room with her, talking about how the Germans should have won the war, or talking about how, they are Nazis themselves, just unfathomable filth. To what else did they do? They did the whole good cop, bad cop thing where they said, oh, your buddy is ratted out on you, so, speak and we'll let you off easy, to trying to do a kangaroo court railroad thing where they brought in a judge to read her rights as she's in and out of consciousness, to trying to intimidate the hospital staff to not give her a call button, so that the hospital staff could do their job if she was in pain or in some kind of trouble, to, God, what else did they do? Jesus, I'm blanking right now. But is that not enough alone to understand what she was up against right away? And can I think of examples of the same treatment by police today? Okay, well, have you seen any of the footage? Did everyone see the footage of the teenager getting kidnapped in New York this week? All right. I'm just I'm moving fast here. Okay. Next slide. Okay. So then there's an early life chapter where Assata talks about what she learned from her grandparents and how they, at an early age, fanatically instilled upon her a discipline of self-respect, self-determination, and not to be disrespected or undermined by anybody. And so she was conditioned from an early age to stick up for herself and speak up when people were disrespecting her, abusing her, taking advantage of her. And it was quite inspiring, and it was quite, I don't know, it was a beautiful thing to read. And it's clear how those lessons early on ripple and affect her life later on. And she pairs that up later on with kind of, preteen years, talking about wanting to be like people on television, and what she sees on television. And of course, most of what, especially back then, what you see on television, if it's not a white person, it's developed and conceived by white people. And, and they don't show you any of the hard parts of life. They show you people living easy and not having extreme adversity to face or bills to pay or things like that. And so she, kind of by watching TV becomes resentful of the fact that her mom is working class and has to actually fight against all these different realities to bring Assata any kind of normalcy in life. And so, yeah, that's what she learned from television. It's kind of what Many of us learn from television, right? And then, okay. And so why is representation in the media important? Because the human mind conceives what is possible based on what we are shown. So if you only see white people succeeding on television, you're either going to, your brain is going to, your subconscious is going to craft this reality that either only white people are successful or, oh boy, I wish I was white. And this played out in a later chapter in the book where Assata is teaching an art class for Black and brown kids, and they're asked to draw self-portraits, and they draw white faces with blonde hair and blue eyes, which is heartbreaking. The fact that to see beauty is not to reflect it, right? That's why representation in media is important. So that people of all kinds and colors and backgrounds can see some aspirational concept that looks like them, so that they can then spark their own imaginations to aspire to something great, rather than just be conditioned to believe that only one type of person can succeed. Yeah, right? Okay. The next slide is asking me, what did Assata learn from participating in the Equal Opportunity Conference? Okay, so later in life, God, there's we're skipping pretty far ahead, but Assata got herself a job at this company that worked in conjunction with this thing called the Equal Opportunity Conference. And at first, she was bright-eyed and super idealistic about this idea that, okay, all these big companies are going to put on a conference where they're going to welcome in either Black and brown people in junior level positions or just looking for jobs at these companies. And it would be this great opportunity to diversify these fields that are, of course, predominantly white, certainly in the 60s, but even today, overwhelmingly white places of work. And she quickly realized that this opportunity conference, Equal Opportunity Conference, is a place where white hiring people can look good on paper because there was a government mandate that said that these companies have to make an effort to look for people to hire, not to actually hire them, but just basically if they make themselves look good by presenting the opportunity to hire people. Some Black people got hired, but mostly it was just a way to look good and maybe hire a few people to fill a diversity quota without actually making companies look like the actual demographical proportional representation of America, right? So she quickly became disillusioned with the concept of the corporate world doing good and doing something to make their workplace more diverse. How can we keep companies accountable to equal opportunity practices? I need some help here. I don't know. I mean, I'm clearly not very much of a professional myself, but actually hiring people that don't look like you seems like the obvious answer. Actually, maybe if the government incentivized like a more progressive ratio of like white hirees to diverse employees, or maybe if there was an incentive, like a government incentive to have more diversity in leadership roles, in hiring roles, so that it's not just white people looking down and, you know, quickly reaching a hand down to like pull up a few people to fill a quota. Does that seem right? Am I being naive there? That just seems like, I mean, a good concept I learned from the end of policing is wraparound. It's not just one thing. You can't just solve the tension between homeless people and the police cracking down on homelessness by giving homeless people jobs or giving homeless people mental health care, or giving people without homes. It has to be comprehensive, holistic, and it has to be suited to an individual's needs. So to keep a company accountable to equal opportunity practices, you would have to look at the industry in question. You would have to look at the demographics already in place with that company in that industry. You would have to, you know, do things like taking initiative to reach out and educate more than just white kids in that specific field, so that you get more people interested in it. And then you have to give opportunities. I want to put up Annika's comment. Let's read that. I think a lot of it has to do with how recruiting works and where people are recruiting. If you're only marketing yourself to white people and only recruiting from predominantly white institutions, of course you're not going to have a diverse employee base, because only white people are even getting in the door. Right. Part of that comes back to representation and the idea that like tech, for example, across the board, the image of like the tech entrepreneur is a white guy in a sweatshirt with almost no exception, right? Or that's the image that gets publicized. And then it becomes like a self-perpetuating problem where it just keeps getting worse with no other alternative representation. Okay. Let's do the next slide. Okay. Why was Assata attracted to the Black Panther Party? What was her criticism of the political education in the party? Okay. So after many years she's a New Yorker, born and raised. And then she moved to the Bay Area for a few years. And she wanted to get involved with all the different movements in the Bay Area regarding racial justice, revolutionary thinking, and radical politics. And of course, the Black Panthers at the time were they were kind of the stars. They were the in her words, they were the baddest. They were she was attracted to the Black Panthers because they were doing a lot. They were and they kept it very simple. They kept it accessible. They didn't over intellectualize the language of their politics, and they and their actions were very visible, highly publicized and striking, marching into a Capitol building with their guns drawn to make a point. And she was attracted to that. And also because the Black Panthers made the point that it wasn't just the white man that was oppressing them. It was the structure of racial capitalism globally that was keeping everyone from being liberated. So later on, she joined the Black Panthers. She moved back to New York, and she was involved in helping them with their medical clinic. God, I can't think of the right word. I don't remember exactly what they called it. But then she was also involved in the free breakfast program for the children, and she was critical of some of the practices of their political education program. There were 3 different branches of the Black Panthers political education program. I remember that her main criticism was that they talked a lot about theory. They would do the Marxist theory and talk about how structures alternative to capitalism worked. But her criticism was that they were teaching people they were teaching new members a lot of these high concept political concepts, but they were not providing any historical context. So there was a lot of emotionally charged kind of like kind of short-term vision of like, get these people really passionate about these alternatives to capitalism. However, a lot of the new members were not given any kind of historical. In her examples, she was greatly affected and shaped by learning that the Civil War was a war fought not over ending slavery, but more about the North and the South's fight over economics. Basically slavery versus industrialism. And she also learned that Abraham Lincoln was pretty ambivalent about freeing slaves. He claimed that if it were politically and financially advantageous for the country to, keep slavery around, up and running, that's what he would have done. That's what he would have fought for. And so that shaped her worldview a lot, learning things like that. And so her criticism was that the Black Panthers' political education didn't implement any kind of historical context, didn't teach about Nat Turner or Harriet Tubman, revolutionary figures with examples to draw from. It's just kind of more like, I don't want to get this wrong, but it's more like get passionate and angry about this system, get passionate and emphatic about a different system, and go. And and now I'm asking myself, well, how can we apply this criticism to current events? And I guess, I don't know, I'm now trying to detect in my own process where I could be misstepping here, right? Is there a historical context that I could be drawing from instead of just getting angry about how the police system works and then jumping right into, hoping and praying that everyone comes around on restorative justice or something. That's my first thought. Anyone else have any ideas? How can we apply this criticism to current events? I mean, everyone's upset about President Trump's and the Trump administration's handling of the coronavirus. And it could, there was a pandemic 100 years ago, and absolutely zero historical context has been considered to maybe give us a fighting chance to handle the pandemic with any kind of grace or, progress. You know what I mean? I think you see the lack of historical context awareness all over social media, in part because social media is structured to strip out context and just spread anger. Very good. Yeah, it's an outrage machine, right? It's a perpetual outrage machine, and in fact, algorithms are designed to feed and amplify the outrage without providing context. So as an individual, it behooves you to delve into historical context. Maybe that'll give us a clue into the next book we should read, or, something like that. I have my ideas on that later. Next slide. What was COINTELPRO? What were they doing to destroy the Black Panther Party? Okay. Do you guys know what COINTELPRO is? Counterintelligence program. This was a secret. I mean, it's all secret because it's the FBI. This was the FBI strategy to take apart radical political oppositional groups from the inside out, basically. And so in the book, Assata talks about how complicated and frustrating being a part of the Black Panther Party became, because people within the party started not trusting each other. They started removing each other from office, and there was all this mistrust between the West Coast and the East Coast branches, and nobody knew at the time that the FBI was intercepting, information and, posing as different leaders and sending different information out to the other leaders, just scrambling the communication. And then, of course, tapping phones, spying on people, following people, and then there were agents within the FBI infiltrating the Black Panther Party as well, and all these other groups. There's a book I saw that I want to read called The COINTELPRO Papers. I think it was recommended by Boots Riley, the director from Sorry to Bother You, and the leader of the rap group The Coup. And then Assata talks in the book about she didn't pay her phone bill for months, but mysteriously her phone was still on, which led her to believe her phone was being tapped. And what else? She would practice public speaking with a tape recorder. And then she just one day got a phone call, like Joanne Chesimard, stop speaking into that tape recorder. Boop. Hung up on her. So who was watching her through the window? Who were these white people in Harlem just reading newspapers outside of her apartment all hours of the night? Who was following her? And then, of course, She finally went into hiding when she was walking back to her apartment, and one of her friends caught up with her before she got to her apartment and said that there were police raiding her apartment. And she went to a friend's house and stayed there for a while. And then all of a sudden, and this is a big repeated motif in the book, the poster, the wanted poster. There were these photos of someone, a black woman with an afro in these wanted posters. And it was, her name, Assata Shakur, also known as Joanne Chesimard, born, physical description or social security number, all these things. And apparently in the 70s, in every bank, in every police station, in full page ads in the newspaper, this wanted ad was just everywhere. And she had to go into hiding. It wasn't even a real photo of her, because later in the courtroom they would put a photo of her over the photo in the wanted ad. And it was just someone who looked like her. And she was framed for all these bank robbery cases, which, God, we didn't even get into this, but like so much of the book deals with the fact that Assata's aunt, Evelyn, quit her job as an NYU law professor to become Assata's lawyer and work with her throughout all these cases that she had been charged with in the hospital bed. Assault with a deadly weapon, killing a police officer, bank robbery, conspiracy to bank robbery. And just step by step through the process, whether it's, okay, let's put her in solitary confinement. Okay, let's stop her from talking to her lawyer aunt. Okay, let's rush her through the process of these court cases. Okay, let's set this case in the most white and racist county in New Jersey, where the potential jurors have read this book called like Blue Shield or something, or like Blue Under Attack, some bullshit, where they talk about Assata's case before the cases have even gone to trial, and talking about the persecution of police officers and all this shit. And then it's revealed that these jurors have read this book and that they already think she's guilty, and that it's like this big controversy that they then have to, postpone the case, move her to another county, try again, move her to Rikers, all these different, like they're just sending her to all these different jails, putting her in solitary under all these extremely harsh conditions. And then they're like trying as hard as they can to like rush her into these courts to kind of like spring all these charges upon her team without giving them the chance to like assemble a case. And there's all these cases of like acquittal and hung juries. And it's like, they just, one after the other, she's acquitted. Okay, we'll send her back to solitary until we can try her for the next case. Go back to court, hung jury. Okay, send her back to solitary for another case. Unbelievable. So it's just, this is the general pattern throughout the book of all these different cases they put her through, until finally, after all of these years in solitary, and all of these cases with these racist as hell judges, these lawyers that have zero evidence on any of these cases. Not her aunt, but another one of the lawyers on one of the cases dies under mysterious conditions that are never revealed. And then all the papers of the research that this lawyer has done go missing. Like, is it not extremely obvious what's going on? And then she gets sent to this women's prison. I don't know. I'm getting off track here. Yeah, but what do you okay, so yeah, that's why did she go into hiding? It's because they placed these wanted ads everywhere, and I don't know if she had there was like a million. as of today, there's like $1 million bounty, on the information leading to her arrest, even though she's in Cuba. And yeah, okay. Also, another part of this is that she was jailed with one of her friends who was being tried. They became close over time, and Assata actually became pregnant while incarcerated. And the whole story there is insane. The way that the ambivalence and the aggression and the hostility that she faced as a pregnant woman in jail, the prison doctor outright saying, "You're probably going to lose the child. I'm not doing anything about it." It's I think you really should read this book. I don't want to go too much into that, but she did end up having the child. Child lived. That's a whole other thing. But just the needless contempt and hostility and I don't know, that she faced from prison staff, from the justice system, from police, just, it is astounding, right? We'll get into some present day stuff soon, but the next slide. I mean, okay, yeah. How does Assata's story make you feel about the justice system in the US? Bringing it back to just all the other books that I've read in July about the justice system, the police, and mass incarceration. I mean, does it just leave any ambiguity on the table about the lengths that this system will go to silence, not even like abject opposition, but criticism? Like, I don't think what I'm doing here is very revolutionary, or I don't know. But reading this book, I get scared that, like, who's watching this? Because of just the basic fact that I'm saying out loud, right? And how petty police officers are. And how petty the prison industrial complex is. And just the lengths that they will go to make life a living hell for someone, just for trying to explain the basic truth of how these systems work. So I don't know. Yeah, that's how I feel. Police are petty. That's how we can boil it down. What else did I want to get to today? Does anyone have any questions for me? I don't even know if I'll be able to answer them well, but yeah, while people ask questions, I'll keep talking. I mean, I wrote in here in the structure that, David, thank you. Here's a great question. What made you want to do this? Couple things. First of all, I don't feel very funny right now. I don't feel like, it just didn't feel very fulfilling or appropriate to do a comedy show in the wake of the uprisings and just a general public awakening of consciousness, to a reawakening of consciousness to the evils of how our justice system works. It just felt wrong to ignore it. And then it, I still struggle with like a way to feel like I'm actually helping or doing the right thing. You know, after starting this book club, I quickly found kind of a disheartening article. I forgot who wrote it, but it said, when police kill black people, white people start book clubs. And I thought, oh, nailed it. Got me, right? Basically, I feel like I am not equipped intellectually. I feel like I should know these things. I feel like, you know, I've talked before how I grew up I grew up in the Bay Area, right? I grew up, you know, raised by hippies, and you know the social justice thing and the you know, the radical mindset thing is kind of baked in to a historical context that I can identify with. However, I've also talked about how it's easy to be complacent there and go, oh no, I'm not racist. I was raised by hippies, you know, or like, oh no, look, yeah, look, cops are bad. We all know that, but there's nothing I can do or say about it. But what made me want to do this is to hold myself accountable to the learning process. And I feel like maybe it would be too heavy to do it every single week. But I feel like switching back and forth week to week, I can give myself time to absorb what I'm trying to learn, and also keep people interested and engaged by doing something a little lighter on the off weeks. And, you know, it may be kind of thin soup for now, but yeah, we're talking about opening up the dialogue. I feel like that's all I'm equipped to do at this point. I'm not equipped to teach people. I'm not equipped to take on the whole system head on, right? I'm not equipped. Like I'm just showing you that if I can learn, I think it's possible for whoever I'm sharing this with to learn too, right? It's, yeah, okay. Also, Kate, thank you. It's not easy confronting this and confronting it publicly. Maybe this may inspire you to confront something that maybe you know is hard to deal with intellectually and emotionally, but maybe this can give you some kind of example of like how to approach that. It starts with reading. It starts with educating oneself, right? I don't know what this is going to lead to. I struggle with that every time I do this. Like, what? Am I going to become a civil rights lawyer? Probably not. I would love to be a clown and be, a comedian again. I don't know. I'm not feeling that, you know? And also I'm just stuck inside and I'm tired of scrolling Twitter all day. So it just felt good to read. I'm trying to read 50 books this year. I just hit the halfway mark. If you want to be my friend on Goodreads, I'm trying to read 50 books and I feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I don't know how reading 50. Thanks, David. Yeah, I'm going to be a hair model. Yes. As I get my 90s middle part going. Is reading 50 books really going to change I don't think so. I've read 25. And I guess I'm a little bit more well-informed about a justice system. But I feel like if I set a high goal and reach it, maybe I'll have some new knowledge to approach things differently. Right? That's why I'm doing this. Is because I want to be different. I want to be more. I want to be more than just a guy being opportunistic about like how to spin things into a funny thing. You know, I'd like to be well informed. And ideally, wouldn't it be great if I could learn enough about these things that break my heart that I could then do something with the creativity that's already baked into my world? Wouldn't, like, I don't know if I'm going to write a clowning piece about this book that I read, but again, I think these weeks and reading about, okay, here's another reason I'm doing this show, is because it's hard to confront these issues, right? But by reading firsthand accounts of people forced to confront these issues through extreme hardship, abuse, hostility, violence, and rising above it, going through it, I'm hoping that I can somehow absorb one molecule of the courage and determination that people like Assata Shakur face, so that I could implement that in my own behavior and actions. I mean, yeah, she's an aspirational figure in her ability to live through all of that. Goddamn Emily Pineapples asks, is the joy subversive enough? Quoting a poem I wrote for Klon 2, $1 Billion Bonkies. I'm not so sure anymore. That was a more idealistic time where I wasn't as plugged in to the horrors of the pervasive injustice that we all are submerged in, right? Another good question. How do we weaponize joy to create a more equal society? Well, to use a weapon effectively, we gotta understand it and practice with it. And that's maybe something I could hold myself accountable to a little bit more. If I want to use joy as a weapon, I gotta train in that weapon, right? In that fighting style. So maybe that'll be next week. We gotta practice joy so that we can weaponize it in conjunction with arming ourselves with the proper knowledge to actually do something and target something with our joyful weaponry. Jon Stewart did good with jokes at a late night show. Yeah, I grew up idolizing Jon Stewart, right? But here's something to consider as well. Here's a criticism of Jon Stewart and the fact that he didn't change much besides the industry and creating a new industry within the industry of, comedians sitting at a desk and making themselves look and sound important by telling jokes about politics, right? I love Jon Stewart. But did he go hard enough? I mean, no. He took an approach of like, hey, everything's crazy, right? I don't know. I gotta reread an article criticizing Jon Stewart. I'm just paraphrasing that now. Tearing down one of my heroes for no reason. Yeah, David brings up a good point. They can go as hard as they can so they can still have a job. I wonder how hard I could go on Twitch before they take down Planet Scum and ruin everyone's show. That's also something I consider when I talk about like these books. Whatever. At least he's not Bill Maher. Thank you, Dot. Yeah, Bill Maher. My goodness. Okay. Just one more question. Does anyone have any other questions? Meep, 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 beep, 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 beep. Skadoodle doodle doo. Skadeedle deedle dee. Oh, you know what? I have to show. Yeah, everybody okay, Dot brings up a good point. Everybody should go look up this video. Okay, before Bill Maher had his current show, he had a show on ABC called Politically Incorrect. And it was basically like the roundtable discussions from Real Time with Bill Maher, but very 90s. And because it's very 90s, Boots Riley from The Coup shows up in an episode of Politically Incorrect. And he's sitting there talking about, of course, because he's Boots Riley, how much he doesn't like capitalism. And these other people sitting there with him go, okay, Mr. Rapper, if you don't like capitalism, what do you like? And he's like, I like a version of communism so far left that you can't even comprehend it. And then they get into this big argument where they talk over each other. And Bill Maher goes, okay, we got to take a capitalist commercial break. And then basically he doesn't get a chance to talk for the rest of the episode. We have some fan art. Someone made some fan art for the show. Let's see it. It's going to take a second, but let's see it. Holy shit. Wait, let me full screen this so I know what's going on here. Whoa, that's cool. Okay, yeah, we got the ha-has in the background, making me look a little bit like the Joker. I appear to be melting, which is how I feel right now. It's hot, it's sweaty, and my psyche is melting. And then we got the Amazon logo in the corner because, of course, today we're sponsored by Amazon. In truth, today we are sponsored by, well, no, we're sponsored by you guys. If you guys want to send money, if you send 20, I'll send you a postcard. Send your mailing address to googymorning@gmail.com. But I'm sending half of the money to the National Bail Fund. Shout out Local Unknown for this artwork. Thank you. And yeah, this is cool. I appreciate that. Thinking about shaving because I've become undereducated white leftist ranting about politics on online. What a trope. But what else is there to be? All right. Thanks, Dot. It's my first beard. My dad had a beard at this age. Shouts out to Kevin Schmevin if you're watching. At least I know I need to learn more. Yeah. The goal is to not become a complacent, hoity-toity, smug beard man. Let's see. My next point. Okay. I'm going to do some screen sharing. And wait, okay. Let's see. I want to. Okay. So look. Let's take a look at these articles for a second. Oh fuck. Okay. This is the original article published in 1977 on New York Daily News. I don't know. I don't know why I'm showing this. I guess the most important, the most illuminating article is this one. It's from NJ.com. And the headline is 40 years later, the hunt is still on for cop killer Joanne Chesimard. Now look, there are some beautiful quotes in this article. Let's see. It was 40 years ago, but every state trooper has been told about what happens just past midnight along the edge of the New Jersey Turnpike. They have all heard about the two-door white Pontiac with the broken taillight, the radical black militants, the shootout. So this is like a legendary story for New Jersey state troopers, where they still talk about how badly they fucked up as if this is something they need to watch out for. Look, we teach this case. We teach this investigation. We set this into troopers' minds when they're in the academy. It's the understanding that there's no such thing as a routine motor vehicle stop. Yeah. Every stop could be an opportunity to kill someone. Every stop could be an opportunity to apprehend someone who has some reality-based criticisms of how the police kill people for no reason. Black people for no reason. Let's see. I'm going to quickly scroll through. This article is free online. You can. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah. The FBI and the state police have said the reward for information leading to her capture has been increased from $1 million to $2 million. By doubling the reward, we're going to bring additional attention to this. Just let it go. Take the loss. You guys fucked with her for so many years, and you still want to pull her out of cute, like, come on. They said all three were armed, and Chesimard fired the first shot, wounding Harper in the shoulder. She got out of the car and exchanged gunfires with the troopers until she was wounded. Okay, look. I don't know if I'm still on camera or not. Look. Oh, wait. Shit. What's going on? Has this been working, or I don't even know if what I'm doing works. I'm going to keep going. Look, there are so many accounts of Joanne Chesimard shooting this police officer execution style. It is my understanding that execution style means like what's that terrible movie? The Boston movie, the fucking Boondock Saints, where it's like you get your victim down on the knees and you shoot him in the back of the head. There's no way in any kind of traffic stop struggle shootout where she could get out of the car and shoot a state trooper who is not alone execution style. But that's how they teach this case in the academy. I don't know, man. I'm looking for another just beautiful quote in this article. There's okay. This is great. I think this is their big argument. This is their big argument. This is their big hypothetical to try to get the Cuban government to comply with their requests to deliver Assata on a silver platter back to the New Jersey state government so that they could put her back in jail. This guy says, I think my appeal today collectively is to the Cuban police. My point was, what if the Cuban police had lost one of their officers execution style on the side of the road, and then the person who was responsible for that was arrested and convicted for granted political asylum in another country? How would they feel? Like they're treating this like trying to, I don't know, maybe discipline a fifth grader? How would you feel if your little brother took your peanut butter and jelly and ate it without asking? How would you feel? How would you feel? Okay, Well, I don't know. How would you feel if a Black Panther got a job at the New Jersey State Police with the intent to completely destroy the institution from the inside out? How would you feel if all the New Jersey State Police were put in jail with no trial, or you gave them a bunch of phony trials that they had to work out on their own? You only had your relatives to depend on for legal help. Like, I don't know. How would you feel? Maybe I'm being stupid for doing the same thing back then, but it just sounds so stupid to me to go, how would you feel, Cuba? Like, Cuba feels not terrible about it, obviously. I mean, she's living in the one place in the world where she feels like she can be free. Cuba is not a huge fan of the way the American government and the American justice system operates. Asking, like, an American state trooper asking Cuba how they would feel is pretty funny now that I think about it. Like, maybe I got to read a book on Cuba, but in my limited knowledge, it's pretty clear how Cuba feels about America. I watched a clip on YouTube of Hannity with Chris Christie. And I think it was back in like 2012 or 2011 when maybe they increased the amount of money that, like from 1 million to 2 million or something. I don't know. I should go back and watch this clip, but it was really hard to watch because, they always write at the top, they go, convicted cop killer Joanne Chesimard, also known as Assata Shakur. And it's like, okay, this book came out 30 years ago. I mean, the biggest thing for me there is just like the forensics, the chemical test alone showed that she had no gunpowder residue on her fingers. She didn't fire a gun with her paralyzed hand. You can convict her for being a cop killer, but convicted cop killer is so misleading when there's no way she could have killed a cop then and there. Anyway, Chris Christie is saying to Hannity something like, Hannity, maybe Obama did try to do something about Assata Shakur being in Cuba and trying to get her out. But if he did try something, I'm not aware of it. I mean, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, somewhere in this article or one of these articles, she's on the same wanted list that Osama bin Laden was on. She was like number 3. When Osama bin Laden was alive, he was number 1. Someone else from the Taliban was at number 2. Assata Shakur, number 3. Because she broke out because she was convicted of killing a New Jersey state trooper. I mean, I guess the greatest takeaway that we can surmise from all of this is that it's all about making an example out of her. It's not about what she actually did on that night. It's about all the other things that she did with her time in trying to educate people, in trying to educate herself, and trying to help people stand up for themselves against an oppressive regime, right? So, look, that's what makes me like And I'm privileged to be uncomfortable about this, just uncomfortable sharing. Yeah, we're not going to do any more screen sharing because that fucked up with the stream. I'm sorry, guys. I'm on a Chromebook here. Today's show is sponsored by Google Chromebook. So yeah, I guess even in my white male privilege, I'm moved out of my comfort zone because I go, geez, I hope they don't make an example out of me, right? But that shouldn't discourage us from educating ourselves in this way. Oh, fuck, I gotta hit stop. Okay. There, okay, hopefully my stream is better now. I'm sorry, guys. You're good. I don't want to be made an example of. Shamefully, I haven't even gone to one march. I'm ashamed about that. Even knowing it's safer to go to a march right now than it is to get on an airplane and visit my family. Because so many people are wearing masks in the march. And it's outdoors. And I'm white. And I'm a guy. So chances are I could stand in front of people with a higher potential to get beat up by cops. And I wouldn't, maybe not be touched. I don't know. I'm scared of getting my ass kicked by police, So I just read about them and then I share what I read. Yeah. I don't know. Is that relatable? Is anyone else afraid of getting assaulted by the police? Seems to be a realistic fear for the foreseeable future. Just being honest. All right. I highly recommend reading this book. I mean, again, holistic approach. It takes more than one book. But I feel like I feel more well-versed and educated about this kind of stuff. After what? 4 books? 5 books? On Tyranny. Turned out to be a good, just general primer about tyranny in general. What do we read after that? Are prisons obsolete? The end of policing. Assata. We went from like a wide scope of tyranny to the institutionalized tyranny and prison industrial complex to police to one firsthand account of the failures of all those institutions. Let's see. What's next? That's a good question. Here's what I'm thinking. Inside the personal account of Assata and her autobiography, there is the unavoidable reality of the intersection of being a Black person, a woman, and someone with radical revolutionary politics. And that's an intersection that obviously I can't identify with most of that. And I think it's important for me and people like me to learn from people who can identify with that intersection. So we spend a lot of time on justice, tyranny, police, punishment, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like for August, I want to move into patriarchy. What do you guys think of that? Does that make sense? I'm thinking of starting with Women, Race, and Class by Angela Davis. I don't know, like there's got to be other books about patriarchy, sexism. I don't know, right? Why am I at a loss for words? Again, this is kind of where I was at the start of the book club. It's because I'm not well versed. I don't know enough to feel confident speaking about this. But in a general sense, in what I see around me in my lifetime and in history, this is an all pervasive oppression that must be understood and subverted in order to make some kind of progress, in order to make people who have historically been shut out of the conversation heard, represented, and empowered. Doofus Clon is asking if we could go all the way back and read Feminine Mystique. They haven't read it in 9 years, and that's the book that they had to read in their radical politics class. What is that book? I don't know. The Feminine Mystique sounds mysterious. I guess I think Women, Race, and Class is going to be the next book. This was apparently the book that sparked the second wave of feminism. Here's how we do it. Next week, we're going to talk about the intersection of ska and feminism. First wave, second wave, third wave. We're not really going to do that. But I will look into that book. I feel like I've heard it. I've heard of the book, but I think I've made up my mind on the Angela Davis. We have a good rapport going with Angela Davis in this show. Sandu Plays says I should turn this into a YouTube series as well. Well, these shows are archived on YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch the discussion about the other books, yeah, you can go for it. Man, but here's the other thing. I've been thinking about starting like a Patreon or like a Twitch of my own, or I used to do YouTube, but here, subscribe to the Planet. Look, Nightbot made a link. Subscribe to Planet Scum on YouTube by going to bit.ly Planet Scum YouTube. Put that up for a sec. Because we got other great shows. We got a game show hosted by a pervert. We got Dyke Vice. We got the George Lucas show. We got Gethard giving away money for guessing what's in the box. And we got this. I still don't know what this show is. It's hard to. Oh, you know what? Here's something else. One other thing. Oh, we got Justin and Maya. Support Justin and Maya. What did I want to say? I wanted to say I am so thankful for the people that watch this show, because I genuinely had and still kind of have no idea who is interested in this and why. Like, I'm assuming it's pretty much only people who know me through my past work on the Gethard show. I really don't know who would be interested in this outside of the show, but if there's someone out there that you can think of that would like to learn to juggle one week and then talk about Assata the next week and then alternate until I decide to do something else with this show, you can tell somebody about the show. That would be helpful. I would love that. But you know, it's always weird plugging this show because part of it is like, it's kind of the public access Gethard show thing where I'm kind of turning my own deal into performance art. And it kind of delves sometimes more into just getting personal than something that qualifies as entertainment, you know? This just kind of feels like a cool place to convene. And what's Doofus saying? He's been plugging my friends who are into ska and radicalism. Cross-section is large. Thanks, Doofus Clown. Well, you know, I just appreciate you guys for sticking around for this kind of thing because at this point, it just feels more like, I don't know, a little bit of a convening than a show. Of course, I say this as the only person on screen, and I say this as, you know, I'm asking you guys for, you know, money and stuff. But I appreciate you guys. And thank you. I don't know if I would have done this work without you guys reflecting it back at me either. And I feel like, you know, it's important to do this reading, and holding myself accountable to you guys is a huge motivator in that. So I feel like that is reason alone to keep doing it. Have you guys watched Avatar: The Last Airbender? Such a good show. It's on Netflix. It's only 3 seasons long. Every episode's like 20 minutes long. Been watching it with Elena. It's like the high point of our day is watching this. It's a beautiful looking, funny, deep, really well written show. It's like a mystical kung fu movie. It's a journey of these children as they traverse the world, searching for the magical martial arts masters that can teach this young monk how to master the elements and bring balance to the world at war. It's such a good show. So we're on the 3rd season now. We're going to finish it very soon. But one thing, look, there's a reason why I brought it up. Why is that? Is because Aang, the Avatar, he's the last of his kind, has access to a very powerful state called the Avatar state, where his tattoos on his body glow bright white, and he has all these otherworldly powers that he can only access in that state, right? And soon he learns that at this most powerful state, he is also at his most vulnerable. If he's killed in the Avatar state, he can't be reincarnated. And that'll be the end of the legacy of the Avatar. And in my own mind, I'm going, okay, if at his most powerful, he is his most vulnerable, it stands to reason that at his most vulnerable, he is at his most powerful. And there exists the reason to cultivate your vulnerability. That's where your power lies, right? This all came from, I believe Miel wrote that she appreciated me being. No, it was Abby Normal. Thanks, Abby. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, so thank you for saying, thank you for being vulnerable and open. I'm doing my best here. But that reminded me of that line in Avatar. By being vulnerable, that's where we gain power, right? I mean, there have certainly been times, like, I don't know. That's part of the reason why I shed the Vacation Jason shell. But it's strange because I feel powerful when I play these comedy characters that I come up with. There's obviously some kind of pattern going on with Vacation Jason, with Andrew Stinger, the Zyper, with my milk cult thing. They're arrogant, they're quick, they're confident, there's a power that I'm able to access seemingly only when I play these characters. I played Vacation Jason on live television and I felt comfortable and free and at home. I'm doing, this show and I'm getting, tripped up and things like that. It's such a different energy, right? What was the vulnerability in Vacation Jason that allowed me to be powerful in that moment? Is it because I was sharing something that I thought was funny and coming from a true place, and then that translates into power that I can then use to feel comfortable on a live TV show with publicly the highest stakes I may ever experience? Does that make sense? So I don't know. There's like an alter ego effect where by assuming and committing to a character that is bigger than me, I then rise to those occasions and I rise to those characteristics. Goddamn Emily Pineapple says, I think it's the willingness to be the heel. Yeah. There's like I'm exposing myself to again, going out on a conceptual branch limb here is like, am I being vulnerable by allowing myself to be the bad guy? And that's what kind of gives me some kind of power. Boo. Yeah. Bring it on. Bring it on. Boo. Yeah. I like it. I like it. Boo you. I don't know. And boy, like, I don't know, back to what David was saying earlier. Yeah, like, why am I doing this? Like I watch like the reel before my show starts, and it's like, damn, Justin and Maya look like they're having fun. Gethard looks like he's having fun. Martin Urbano always looks like he's having fun. Robbie, like, it looks like she doesn't know how not to have fun with what she's doing. And then I'm like over here, used to be the goofiest guy I know, sitting here like, all right, this week we're talking about how the cops are murderers. What am I doing? Like, without trying to crash and burn here, I often privately and now publicly go like, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I here for? And I get really whiny. Left brain, right brain. Which one should I, I don't know. Like, I just don't like feel like clown alone was getting me where I need to be. And I don't want to put it down entirely because it brings me joy. And I feel like the joy that I've gotten out of doing those kinds of things brought me here. It brought me to the Gethard Show. It brought me to being a celebrated part of the Gethard Show. It brought me to Klon. It brought me to all the things that I like doing. Comedy, wrestling, sketch shows. stupid. You know, I like stupid and aggressive and, you know, but like stupid and alone is like, it just doesn't feel like enough. And I guess I'm just trying to find a balance. And hopefully by learning about the world and learning about how I see the world wouldn't that be nice if it could help me strike a better balance where like it would make my comedy better too? I don't know. I need a job. I need income. I'm not asking for not asking for more money here. But like what I freaked out yesterday because I thought I was going to learn coding. What am I going to do as a computer programmer? How the fuck is that going to turn into a job? I shouldn't even be sharing this. I should just, I don't know. But you know, those are the jobs in demand right now. I need a job, and like, wouldn't that be nice if I could work remotely and I don't know. I don't fucking know. But like, art doesn't seem to be an option anymore. I don't know. Andy Blandy, everyone has a coding face. Thanks, Andy. Fuck, I knew it. All right. Shark Bait DZ. Feel a lot more comfortable in this particular read and learn situation because I think you're more relatable, at least to me personally, even if I haven't gotten quite brave enough to say much yet. Well, thank you, Shark Bait DZ. Thank you. Yeah. Everyone read and learn. Everyone grow. And then everyone on the off week have some fun. That's what we'll all do. You know, maybe it's foolish and, you know, I often get impatient and scared about what I'm doing because it doesn't seem to be yielding results yet. But yeah, okay, let's focus on what we've gotten so far. We spent a month reading about this stuff, and now we're more well-versed about this stuff. And that's not nothing. It hasn't turned into a life-changing paradigm shift of me figuring out what I'm going to do with my life. But I finally sat down and I read books that I thought like, oh yeah, it would make me more well informed if I read these books. I fucking read them, and I'm going to keep reading, and hopefully, hey, read them along with me. Dot, if you didn't see Dot learning to juggle in front of my very eyes last week, it was very inspiring, and I thank you, Dot, for keeping up with the practice. Because juggling, that's another one of those things that'll change your brain. I'm just trying to change my brain and turn it into something a little bit more effective and useful for myself and then hopefully others. I'm always panicking because I'm trying to take care of myself and figure out a way to make a little income here, you know. And I haven't figured it out yet. What do we got here? Oh, we got the fucking box breath. Here we go. This is how we're going to end. We're going to do some breathing, and then we're going to sign off. Okay? I want to thank everyone watching for participating. I want to thank you for sticking with the show as it, whatever kind of amorphous shape it takes. Thank you for letting me know that you enjoy it. I was not in the mood to do the show this week. And that should have been clear. But we did it. Women, Race, and Class. That's the next book. If you want to get started right away, I actually have this book right here, this Alan Watts book. This was gifted to me. Become What You Are. I'm probably going to read that today. It's a short book. Look how thin it is. I'm going to read this Alan Watts book today and tomorrow. And then I'm going to get to Women, Race, and Class, and we'll discuss it in 2 weeks. What are we going to do next week? I don't know yet. We're going to do something right brain. We're going to do something creative. Maybe we'll get stupid with it. Here, because we got to make the show look appealing to people in the reel. Here's me hamming it up for the fucking sizzle. Okay, here we go. Put it in the highlight reel. Put it in the highlight reel. Put it in the highlight reel. Whoa, Googy morning. Oh, Googy morning. Oh yeah, and put the fan art. Put the fan art in there, and then put the clip of me laughing and freaking out in there. Okay. Next week we're gonna do here. It's going to be called Mr. Rude's Musical Toilet. That's the name of the show next week. Mr. Rude's Musical Toilet. Everyone bring a song. Everyone's going to get a chance. It's going to be like a little open mic where everyone can sing their song that they wrote. Oh yeah, here's the thing. Okay, here's some. Oh, also, wait. What? Today's the 1st. 2 weeks from today is like the 1st anniversary of the 1st episode of Klon. Can you believe it? I'm getting questions. The topic for the song. Just make it just a stupid song. Don't think too hard. Don't overthink it. Just write a song. If you don't have any musical experience, like with an instrument, a cappella, do a little hand clap thing. Look up a royalty-free instrumental to sing along to. I don't care if it rhymes. No hate speech. All right? Is that enough parameters for you? So look, August 14th was the 1st Klon. In that episode, at the end of the episode, Klon does a musical performance. And here's a little scoop for you, for everyone, all the insiders. Shh. Klon, even as a robot, has a musical hero. He has an idol that he looks up to. He's a legendary punk artist named Mr. Rude. That's who Klon is emulating in that performance. Mr. Rude. So next week, you're going to meet Klon's musical idol. His name is Mr. Rude. I'll show, because I've been working on this here. I'm going to show you Mr. Rude's logo because it looks cool. Here, it looks like this. Mr. Rude! Now, here's the thing. I got to change Mr. Rude's name because if you Google Mr. Rude, something else already pops up. It's like those books, those children's books where it's like Mr. Happy, Mr. Sad, Mr. Jealous, Mr. Curious. And one of them is Mr. Rude. Fuck. And like Mr. Rude is such a good name, but it's already a thing. Of course, it's already a thing. It's such a good name. you know, Mr. This, Mr. That. You see him on t-shirts. Mr. Strong. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Tangly Arms. Yeah, fuck this Mr. Rude right here. I wish this didn't exist because Mr. Rude is such a good name. And here's why I want to learn coding. So I can put together a computer program to analyze all of like my journal entries or whatever, and then randomly put words together and come up with a better musical artist name than Mr. Rude. But goddamn, I don't think I could come up with a better name than Mr. Rude. And I already wrote this great logo for the album cover. People are suggesting different. Elena's suggesting just be Mr. Rude. Mr. Rude. But then I'm gonna get Mr. Sued. Right? Lawsuit. Did anybody like that joke? I'm reading the chat. I love talking about suing people. I'm never going to do it because it's such a fucking evil thing to do to people. But Vacation Jason was very litigious. He had a pod of dolphin lawyers. Used the name Lady A. No. God damn it, Mr. Like, look at this. Like, I know it's not great, but that's cool. Fuck it. Next week, Mr. Rude's musical toilet. It's going to be a musical jamboree. And that'll be our stupid right brain exercise. Read Women Race in Class by Angela Davis. And what else? Fuck 12. Donate to the show if you have any money. I understand I'm asking the same 50 people for money every week. So if you don't have the money, that's totally fine. But $20 or more gets you a postcard. You like my postcards? Write your little sweet personalized message on the back. And then half of the money I get goes to the National Bail Fund. And okay, Elena's giving me great advice from the other room. I'm not impersonating Mr. Rude character. I'm just another dude with the same name. That's great advice. Mr. Rude it is. That's the new musical toilet project. And, you know, there's already a professional wrestler named Rick Rude, Ravishing Rick Rude, but I'm not that. I'm Mr. Okay, whatever. That's it. That's the scoop. Klon's idol, Mr. Rude, is appearing on the show. He's going to do the musical toilet for you. And we're going to read Women Race in Class to discuss it in 2 weeks. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sticking with me, even though I was not at my most composed. And I got to pee really bad. So this is the end of the show. Musical toilet. I'm getting a head start on my musical toilet. Old white people call toilets heads, right? People at Irish bars. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all for watching. Spread the word if if someone you think would like this show. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.